Welcome back to Simright Fashion Academy YouTube channel for another interesting tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to sew this beautiful BuBu kaftan with waist pleatings. It also has a collar, as you can see right here. This BuBu kaftan is actually very stylish. I'll be teaching you the tips and tricks to making this beautiful BuBu kaftan. So this is what I got right here. You can see my waist pleatings right there, my collar. The BuBu kaftan is actually very beautiful. The back has a zipper, and this is what it looks after all. I'll be sharing with you some tips and tricks to making this beautiful BuBu kaftan the way it is right here. So let's dive into this tutorial right away. Fabric is Ankara fabric, and I'm using 4.5 yards of Ankara fabric. So from this whole Ankara fabric right now, I'm going to cut out 4.5. But meanwhile, I'll just open it up. So right now, we want to start up this tutorial. Here is the 45 inches length of Ankara, and this is the 4.5 yards which I used for this project. So we'll go ahead to fold our fabric right now. I am folding my fabric. You are going to fold it to 27 inches. 27 inches is standard, okay? I got this 27 inches from the measurement of from my neckline to the position of the arm plus the zipper allowance. So here is the back piece right now. So I've cut it out all the way down so we can start up drafting the back piece. For the back piece right now, you can see is on fold. So the first thing you do is to mark 1 inch for your zipper allowance. I'll mark 1 inch all the way down. You rule your line across. This is my zipper allowance at 1 inch. Then you are going to also make a border line of 1 inch as well. Next, we will begin to take the measurement. This is the length of this dress. Actually, I used 43 inches, but I left 1 inch. Okay, it's almost, I used in fact the whole Ankara piece as the length because I thought of what do I have left, so let's use everything. All right, so you will take the measurement of your neck width. The neck width is 3 inches and the neck depth is 1 inch for the back. I connected. Next, you are going to take the measurement of your shoulder, divide by 2. You will also mark. Then you now take the length of your dress. So I used 16 inches. Then I added 1 inch for my zip for the hemming allowance. That is how I got this 27 inches. I folded my fabric with. Now, on that line, we are going to come down by 1.5 inches. That is the shoulder slant. I'm going to connect this shoulder slant all the way from that point to the neckline, as you can see. Next, we are going to take the measurement of your sleeve opening. My sleeve opening, I marked at 12 inches, but I later reduced it to 11 inches, including the seam allowance. So I'll just go ahead and draw in the line. On that same line, from the center back, not the zipper line, you are going to take your hip circumference divided by 4, then add 5 inches to it. Then take everything you have from the zipper line, then you are going to place it on the hem line. Then you mark. We are doing this just to get a straight line. So I'll just go ahead and mark a straight line at that point, as you can see. So you mark in the kimono curve right in there. Next, you are going to place your tape on the shoulder line and mark your shoulder to waist. My shoulder to waist is 17 inches. I marked it on the zipper line. Then you take the measurement you have from there to the hem line. So whatever measurement you get at this point, please note it down. Mine is 27 inches. I'm going to use it to cut out the front, okay? So that 27 inches, don't forget it. When we are cutting the front right now, we are going to make use of it. Now we want to cut out. So don't forget to add 1/2 inch on your shoulder seam line. Then you cut through the neckline. Then we are going to cut through the sleeve line. Open up the sleeve. I just added a little more inches, but I later still reduced it, okay? So just determine your sleeve length anyway. So I cut it out as you can see right here, and the back piece is ready. So we'll use this back piece to cut the front piece. Here you can see me folding the front piece. So I've already folded my front piece and I've already cut it out. I'm going to show you how I folded the front piece. So remember, the back piece was folded at 27 inches on fold, plus the 27 inches I asked you to keep when we measured from the waist to the down part. That is how I got 54 inches. So I folded my fabric on 54 inches length right now. So let's measure it. It's 54 inches on fold. So I'm measuring from the folded part, and you can see I have 54 inches. So this 54 inches is practically 3 yards. So you can just get 3 yards out of that 4.5 and keep it for the front. The next you are going to do is to place the front piece, okay, the back piece on top of the front piece. The way I'm arranging it right here, make sure you arrange it very well. The folded part has to be on the sleeve part of the back. Then the open part is going to be at the center front of this dress. So I went ahead to arrange it very, very well, making sure it matches even with the hemline before I pin. Alright, so we are done. Next you are going to do, you can see the excess at the front. That is the 27 inches excess we added. Now I'm going to trace this line from that waistline all the way to the end of this fabric. You see this upper part, we are not using it at all for this project. We are going to cut it out. So you are going to see how we are going to cut it out. Next thing we want to do now is to create the center front. So I'll just follow that zipper line on top as the center front, okay, and rule the line downwards. So this is the center front line for the front. You can see it. So you also highlight the shoulder slant line, because that is how we are going to cut it out, and the neck width of 3 inches for the front piece. The next you are going to do is to mark our neck width. So from the neck width of depth of 1 inch, I marked 9 inches on that line. Then I'm going to come in by 2 inches on this line. Then I'll connect to the 3 inches like this. Now on the waistline of the front, I'll also mark 2 inches. Then I'm going to connect that line all the way down. So that is the neck collar line. So this is how the front piece is going to look like on this part. So after that, you are going to extend this waistline. From the center front, you move in or you draw in your line and measure your waist circumference divide by 4. Marking my waist circumference divide by 4, I will go ahead to cut out using the chalk line. So I'll just go ahead and cut from the chalk line like that. Then I'll stop at that point. I'll continue cutting all the way down. Okay, so you can see how we cut off that part I told you we are not going to use. So I'll take it away. Now we will also cut in through the waist circumference divide by 4 and stop at the point of the waist divide by 4. So this is what you're expected to have at this point. So the next thing we are going to do now is to place the back piece again. Make sure you arrange it, making sure the zipper line is on the center front line, okay, or on the neckline. Just arrange it very well, because at this point this back will now fit to the front piece. So you can see how it is. So I'll just go ahead and trace out that shoulder line. Then we open up the front neck sleeve line. We'll go ahead to cut on this side. So we are cutting this side all the way from that point down, and that is all for the front cutting. So the next thing we want to do now, we'll start to sew. So to sew this piece right now, I'm going to sew the back piece first. So you just go ahead and sew the zipper, okay. So I'll just mark the point at which my zipper will stop and sew this 1 inch all the way down and attach my zipper. Here you can see the zip is already ready. So you prepare the back piece first, Next, we are going to bring the front piece. We are going to lay the front piece right side to right side of the back on the shoulder line. So you pick up each of these pieces. Make sure you mark the parts that are the wrong side so it will be easy for you. You place them right side to right side like this. Then we'll sew the sleeve line. I'm going to sew the sleeve line for the both of them right now. After sewing the sleeve lines, we are going to take from the center back the neck measurement for the collar. So here I have 20 inches from that center back. So you multiply by 2, whatever you have, just add 5 inches to it. I've already cut out the width of this. The width is 6 inches. So I made 6 inches width and I hasted my collar too. So you fold it into 2. The length is as long as I took the measurement and added 5 inches. So you secure with your pins, and from the folded part you will measure 13 inches. Measure 13 inches and mark on that point, and on that point you get the midpoint of that 6 inches. So I got 3 inches. I'm going to mark 3 inches down. Then I'm going to rule a straight line right there at the midpoint. This is my stitching line. I'll go ahead right now to stitch all the way down. Make sure you secure with your pins across and stitch down. So after stitching, this is what I got right here. We'll go ahead to turn it to create that collar. So you can see how I'm turning it. This is just to create the collar, and then we are going to give it a good press as well. Center back of this collar, we are going to place it the way I'm placing it right here. We are going to create a crease line with the ironing. So I'll make sure I create a crease line on that part, and that will serve as the center back of the collar. Collar is ready right now, so we'll just bring in the dress as you can see, and we are going to place the neckline at the zipper line. So I will pick up the center back line as you can see right here and make sure it aligns on the zip line. So make sure you align it very well and secure with your pins on both zip lines. After that, I'll go ahead and pin the collar all the way down. Make sure you open up the seam lines too. Here the collar is ready as you can see right here. So this is the zip at that point. So of course you know how to fix this collar. So next we are going to do is to trim off the excess we have on the collar. So you just go ahead and trim it the way you see me trim out right here. And after the collar is trimmed, we'll now start the main business of this tutorial. So you can see what we have here. This is the excess we are going to pleat into this piece. And I'll be sharing with you the tips and tricks to pleating each of these excess from the center, front, until we are done with the pleatings for both sides. Before we pleat in, the hem part has to be hemmed. Please don't forget to hem all the down parts, so both the front and the back. So here we want to start the pleating after we are done hemming. So you can see the part we hemmed is only the down part. Can you see that? So we are going to pick up the 27 inches length. You see? This is the excess we have on this other length, but this pleating is going to start from the down part. Can you see I picked up the hem part? Then I'm going to pin it to the center front. You pin it to the center front like this, and we will begin to pleat in like that. So we have a lot to pleat inside this place. So that means you're pleating. You have to pleat inside, so that this small space will be able to accommodate this pleats. So as you are pleating, you can be securing with your pins if you cannot machine pleat perfectly. So I'm done with the first pleating, so I'm going to pleat in the longer part now. So like I said, just pleat and make sure everything enters that part. So we'll go ahead to stitch. Here on the machine, I just want to demonstrate once again how this was pleated, because this is the main purpose. So it has to start from that hem part you hemmed. Secure that part with your pin first. Now I want to bring this other 4 corner edge. Of course, you know the parts before you go to the waistline, the part on the vertical. So you just go and pin it like to 3/4 or 1/4 of what you have there. Okay, so the longer length will have a longer space for your pleating. I believe you understand. So now we'll take our time to pleat. So you can pleat towards any direction of your choice. So mine, I'm pleating towards this direction. So I'm actually taking my time to show this part of the pleating of this dress, because that is the main purpose of this tutorial. So I kept pleating this and pleating it and pleating it. I kept pleating it like that. So I finished pleating the first part. Okay, so if you finish pleating the first part, you have something looking like this. Can you see that? So you just have something looking like this. So I decided to first sew into it, okay, before we continue. So this is the second part I want to pleat right now. I also went ahead to continue pleating it this way. So this is to make sure that we tuck in everything that is here, so we don't have any one left. So I'll keep pleating it like that till I get to the end of it. Here I'm almost at the end of it, so you can see how the end looks like. So I am going to pleat it, making sure everything relaxes. I just want you to see what I did here. Okay, so you have to now stitch and stop your stitching somewhere there. So that is how to go about this pleating. So I'm going to repeat the same thing I did here. You can see my pleats. So whatever I did here, I'm going to do the other way too. And I'm done doing that to the both of them. And this is what I got, and this is my pleating, and this is the curvy part of this dress. So the next thing we want to do now, we want to go ahead and sew the belt. It has an inner belt, so I've already cut out my belt, so you can go ahead and sew your belt and attach the belt. We are attaching the belt exactly on that our pleating point, because that is where the waist circumference divided by 4 is located. So you just go ahead and stitch this belt. So it's this belt that will give you that fitting that you had. So once you wear the dress, make sure you tie it to your waistline. It will give you that beautiful fitting right there. Then that is that. So after sewing the belt, next we are going to do is to sew the sleeve. So you just open up your seams, fold in 1 inch and 1 inch, and top stitch the sleeves and give it a good press. This is what we got after we are done sewing the sleeve. But then we want to shape in the front piece. Remember, there's this curvy shape we have at the down part. So put the two front pieces together. We are going to taper it. So these are the two side fronts. So we are going to measure, take away that addition. You just take away 6 inches. In fact, just take away 6 inches. So that 6 inches, you connect it to the arm like this. So you can see that part is tapered. Okay, it's penciled. Let me use that word. So I'm going to cut out this tapered part. So once you taper it, it will make it to drag the down parts of the dress. Okay, to drag the back to the front, as you see it on that main picture. So after cutting it out, this is only for the front, take note. Then we can now join it to the back. Okay, I'll join it with 1 inch. So right here, you will just go ahead and make notches at the armhole. As you can see, you just make notches to ease the sleeve and the down piece, as you can see. We have come to the end of this tutorial. I believe this class was helpful to you. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Bye.